Good morning, beloveds. Here I am again. I'm trying to see if I can get the sound right on this, because sometimes I'm finding that the sound is a bit low, or maybe I'm just speaking low because that's the energy of the moment. Okay, so here I am, Sunday morning by the river. I've just got out of bed, so you get me just as I come, because that seems to be the time to do this. I've had a cup of tea, which is very nice. Had a walk in the garden, fed the cats that got left here, so I had to take care of them because some interesting guys thought they should have cats for the time they're here, and then they just dump them and leave them. People are very strange sometimes, not really truly caring. Not about the long term anyway, or not really thinking, not using their intelligence very much. Okay, this is, let's see if we can say something about this. This morning I wanted to say something about what we call love. And what I am seeing in this past time, and I have been actually quite shocked to see this, because it doesn't seem to be where I come from, and so I'm quite shocked to see it or to realize it. And it's how to say it, I don't know how to say it really. Let's see. What I am realizing is that, first of all, we have to learn to love the self. And that is very important, because we are not really loving to ourselves. So we do need to learn to do this, to not be so reliant of somebody else's love from the outside, always feeling that we need to have approval. We need to trust the other before we can trust ourselves. Obviously, as we grow, in the beginning, we need to follow the instructions of a grown-up, because we are still learning. We have to learn that if we don't need to put our hand in the fire to understand that we will get hurt if we get burnt by that. So to a degree, there is a necessity to learn as we are small. At some stage in our life, we get to the point where we start to question that, or we start to rebel against that. And what I have seen from a few friends of mine who have been around, or a few young people that I have been guiding, that they have learned to do things for themselves. They have learned to give to themselves. They have learned to nurture themselves. But on a deeper level, they are not truly loving. They have lost, or it seems they have lost, the true ability of empathy, the true ability of doing something for the other that is not self-serving, that is not just for yourself. To do something, or to have the feeling and understanding to just do something because it feels good to you to do it, not because you're hoping for something in return or waiting for something. I think I've been saying for a long time, and I understand we have to find the balance to love ourselves. We have to find that space within ourselves. But what seems to happen is we do groups and we pay money to do groups and we do meditations and we spend time and energy and we buy things for ourselves and we nurture ourselves. On one level, this is very good because we are nurtured. But it seems to me that we are getting stuck in that. We are not taking the next step, which is knowing from deep inside what is the correct action. This stepping away, this giving to the self, this loving the self is a very important step. But I am seeing that many get stuck in this, and it becomes another, even on a spiritual level, it becomes another me. Mine, getting. And there is no true understanding. There is no true really flowing of this, where there is a giving for no reason. True kindness, true caring, true generosity. This is a very difficult subject for me to talk about because it is very impossible to talk about. I have had some examples. For example, this is just a story to give you an idea, because stories are sometimes the easiest way to do it. It's not about a person. It's not about this person. It's about the story it gives. To give you an example of how I started to understand and see this. My ayah in the house, at one stage her parents, sadly, her mother and father and her auntie sadly were in a rickshaw accident and they died. It was incredibly sad. They were a very close family and very loving family. So my ayah, Reshma, was devastated, of course, and like nearly disappeared because of it. And obviously we held the space as we could here. And we had a guest here, and I said to this guest, Richmond, who had been staying with us several times before and knew Reshma very well, and Reshma had been taking care of her space and she had been sharing time having chai together, and we had a connection, and she had a connection with Reshma. So when she heard about Reshma's situation, she was sad, or it was a sad reaction. And she said, and she went up to her room and she cried. But later on, there was what I realized. There was no true empathy in it. There was really no true feeling in it. The tears were more for herself, and maybe for the picture it brought up, that if her parents died or if something happened, there was a sadness. Now you can say this is judging, but let me just say this is what I was seeing. And later on, I realized this person was still in the house. This person was paying to go and buy her Orasoma bottles and was going to have sessions and was paying to have therapy and was doing all these things for herself. And from after the first point of these tears and whatever, she never again bothered to ask about Reshma, or ask about how she was going, or was she okay, or was there anything she could do. And what saddened me was to see that this person had grown up, sadly, actually in China as a woman. So on some level she was brought up to believe that she had no value because she was in a woman's body. So she had learnt to earn her money, she had learnt to nurture herself. And she was always talking about wanting to go and do, I want to do Tantra, I want to learn intimacy, and I want to learn these things. And I always thought this was such a natural thing. And I thought, well, she loves herself, she takes care of herself. She is a loving person. But with this thing, and it's not a judgment, but it's a thing on a deeper level, I saw that she had learned to self-serve herself, to look after herself, but she hadn't got to the next level. She hadn't found a level where she knew how to be loving in a natural way, how to give love. I mean, she could give love when she felt something was going to come back, but there was no naturalness in the being giving. And the sadness in this time is that I feel that this is happening a lot. I wonder if we will be the last generation that really knows what it is to give without being self-serving. I feel very blessed. I had a mother who was a very giving person. I mean, probably to the point where she was taken very much for granted and misused. And on some level, she was one of my greatest teachers, because I saw that she could give. And then she would become a victim to the giving. And then when she became a victim to the giving, she would end up getting quite nasty with it, because she was doing more than she could give. So for me, she was a great teacher, in the fact to teach me and to show me what it was to be a caring person, but also helping me to see when I got to a balance of what I could give freely without allowing myself to get sucked or to give more than I could give. So in that, I watched this and I realized, okay, I was happy that I understood empathy, that I understood, and through watching and being around a truly caring person, I had been taught this, and then it had become my nature. And because I was also watching, I could see when this was not valuable and when it became a problem because it was a habit and it got stuck. So this is one story that from this girl. Another story is, I'm trying to tell it in stories because it's not really easy to explain what I'm trying to explain. Because it looks, on this level, it looks totally that everybody's doing everything. But this is on the much subtler level of what is love. And everybody seems to be talking about love. I say, get to feel your being. If you can understand your being, which is not from the mind and not from the emotional, this idea about love. It is your being, knowing this sense of space, sitting in this space and moving from this place. Then you can truly give when it is appropriate and be loving to yourself, but also know what it is to have empathy and love the other. Okay, so we have another story, and it's just a story. It's not about anybody particular. It's not about this person. Actually, maybe this story had to happen so that I could give this story. I have another friend of mine who is an enlightened man, who is another person who is in the space and holding the space, and is a beautiful man, and is a person that I have chosen to support at times physically, because probably from my mother, this is my nature. And in the moment, I am still learning to balance this. Now, one of his young people who follows him, I put a post up of Muji about ayahuasca. A person was asking a question about ayahuasca. And Muji, I'm paraphrasing now, Muji was talking, and it is my understanding a little bit, that all things are acceptable and all things are wonderful if they are in right practice, if they are done in the right understanding. and what I understood from Muji and what is my own understanding, that beyond all substances, beyond all things outside of yourself, there is this space within yourself that is in you, that does not need a substance, that does not need anything from the outside. Now, saying that, these can all be beautiful experiences, but what I am seeing in these times is that many are getting stuck in the new trend and the new addiction of the shamanic way, the ayahuasca, definitely marijuana is a great tool, a great medicine, but it is a terrible sucker of energy if you are just using it in a very unconscious way. It is very addictive. I have seen many people that I have guided who have been stuck on it, and it has taken them an incredible amount of awareness and pain to step away from it, even when they're seeing it's not actually supporting them. Anyway, that's not about that. But anyway, so I have seen it. It's like doing the Tantra groups and doing the Tantra. They're doing Tantra. When they're not doing Tantra, they're learning intimacy, which is great. It is fantastic and it is necessary on the planet. But the thing is, they're calling it Tantra. So everything's Tantra this and Tantra that. And Tantra is just push, pull, stop. It is not about, sex is the lowest level of Tantra. It is just to show you that there is these two parts of you that can join, and when they join, then the energy flows. So these trends that come in, and we all get stuck in them. The new trend is now to do the shamanic, to do ayahuasca, to do all this stuff. And people, they are wonderful methods. They are used by the shamans when they're in times of crisis to understand things and open the energy up. But if you are reliant on a substance to get you to that point, you don't know the way to get to that point without that. So you are dependent on that. Eventually, you don't need to be dependent on anything. You know, these things are to help to bring you to an understanding of knowing. But if they are misused, if they are not done with incorrect ways, incorrect practice, they are just hooks. They are just other things that you are entertaining yourselves with. So anyway, this friend of mine, I have given much over the years and supported. And to my face, there is a thank you. But I realized the other day, one of his disciples, after I'd posted this Muji post, absolutely started personally attacking me. And he went for what he thought would hurt a woman of my age. What saddens me is that he is on the path for a long time and that he could do such a stupid thing with the maturity that he should have. He started calling me names because I had agreed with the post of Muji that ultimately all substances needed to be dropped, that there was a place beyond all substance. There is a place beyond all methods. There is a place that is just yourself. That is you, that has the knowing of existence, and it is a flowing, and it is just an ordinariness, and it is so simple. And I understand all these methods can be useful to get you to a point to understand this space, this clear space that is you. That is your enlightened space within you. And it is ordinary, it is normal, it is simple. But one has to, once one knows the methods, one drops all methods, one drops all substances, one drops all this. It is not needed. And if one gets into the point where one is addicted to this to get you to that. You are not there. You are still trying to climb a ladder. You are still trying to get somewhere. So one has to be aware when it starts to become a habit. Even my giving became a habit. And this is the gift of this, what I am understanding. For me, I had to stop and say no. I was called an old hag. I was called a lonely person. I was called an unhappy person. I was told by this young man who is just showing his immaturity by his comments, that I should go and talk to some of my friend's disciples, and that I should listen to him. This is the stupidity of immature people. Because I am the friend, because I treat people with equality and beauty and value them where they are, does not mean that these people see where I see. They are not where I am on the road. I am not higher than them. I am not lower than them. But I'm further out on the road. I have walked this. I have my sadnesses. I am basically an incredibly happy person because I choose that. Because I choose to see the beauty. I have my times of sadness. I can cry. And when somebody attacks me in a way, and this person does not even know me personally, really, and chooses to do this, what they're doing is they're attacking the feminine. They're attacking the feminine within themselves. When they're doing this, they're talking about their own aloneness, their own sadness. And anyway, this young man, so he did this. So this was fine. So I am not a woman to just sit there and go, oh, hang on, I'll just be an enlightened person and I won't say anything because, oh, no, that doesn't look very enlightened. Well, bullshit to that. So I kicked his ass and I mirrored for him what he was doing. Now, he doesn't want my guidance. He can't take guidance from a woman. So he couldn't take it. So he just, in a way, we got into a slanging match. So he basically kept coming back with the same thing. Childish, trying to hurt a woman who is a mature woman. And it was so funny. But still, if somebody vomits on me, I am covered in vomit. And I will go and I will wash it off. If somebody kicks me, yeah, not because of what they're saying, but because somebody chooses to do such a nasty, unkind, horrible thing. Yeah, don't like that very much. Yeah, that can hurt a bit. Especially when it's so untrue. Anyway, so it's not even about this young man. He is where he is. He doesn't know better. And it actually made me sad to see that this is what he felt he would do to a woman or to his own feminine side. To manipulate and find something that he felt could hurt the person or he thought would hurt the person. Anyway, not even that. But what I realized was even what hurt me more was my friend, who this is his disciple who's doing this. Not that he should stick up for whatever Nathan was talking about, ayahuasca. Now we use the name. Okay, but the fact that he could not turn round to his disciple and turn around and say, I need to tell you that what you said personally about Suchira is not my experience of her. I have known her for so many years, and she has always been kind to me. She has always supported me. She is not a lonely person. She is one of the most contented people I know. She is one of the people who is really happy with her own company. She is she has an overflow you cannot even understand. I do not need to be stuck up for. I do not. I know who I am. But when a person or people cannot turn around and care enough to turn around and say, this is not my experience of this person, then I wonder where the person is, enlightened or not. This friend sits in his female energy and he tells me how sad he is that people are cruel to him, that are unkind to him, that are not caring with him. This is what he turns around and tells me. But he does not have the balls to turn around and say to his disciple, look and see what you are attacking. Because as he attacks this feminine form, he is also attacking his master who sits in the female energy. And it is his fear of being in the female that this will what will happen to him. So actually, I am saddened by my enlightened friend who could not find a kind word for me. So in this, I am letting go. And this I am learning. And this I am learning that I need to also stop giving to such people. So I am finding the balance. What is the give and what is take? I do not want to not grow and love. I do not want to not give. And it saddens me to say that I have had to pull my energy back and I am not giving to this person in this moment what I can. Because I see that this is also the lesson for myself. To not give more, to give too much, is also my stupidity. So this is what I'm learning. I don't know if this makes any sense to anybody. I will watch this video back. I will see if I post it or not, if it makes any sense, if I put a transmission in here or not. So the lesson of this is, what is true empathy? We use this word love all the time. Everybody uses this word love. It is a very rare phenomenon to find a truly loving person. Most people are not loving. They are self-serving. They maybe have got to a point where they have come to a point where they are loving themselves, but they haven't come to the point where the overflow, true love, is where it is just an overflow. And I am finding that my true love to myself is to, again, it comes around this spiral again and again, the levels and levels and levels of it. It's not like on a wheel where you're just running around like a mouse on a wheel. You're going through the spiral. So I am coming through this other level. And for me, where I am in myself, I am finding that I am learning when I give too much, I am not allowing the other person to step up. I am taking that responsibility away from them. So in my life in this moment, I am looking at how it is balanced on an energetic level. Ultimately, it's all about energy. And all these things give us opportunities to give back or to find the balance. So, I don't know, this is real gibberish this morning. We've got monsoon, it's raining outside. I'm here, it's a Sunday morning, and this is my gibberish. So, I don't know if this gives a transmission. I hope it does. I hope it makes some sense to somebody. I send you so much love. And I wish you to find the true love inside. The true love that is not manipulated or manipulating. The true love that can sometimes step up for a friend, not because of what the friend is saying, but to actually stand by what you know of the person. And because once, actually, if you deny to say anything, in a way you are agreeing with the aggressor. And if somebody has been kind to you or loving to you or caring to you, don't fucking let them get fucked on. Step up. You don't have to attack the other person. You don't have to do anything. You can just turn around and say, this is not my experience with this person. This person has been incredibly kind and giving to me. This is not how I see this person. You don't have to get into a fight about it, but you can stand up and be countered sometimes. Don't be cowards. Don't just be sheep. Anyway, I send you lots of love. I will watch this again and see if I post it. If I have the courage to post this gibberish. And I love you. I send you lots of love. Bye.